Doamnelor și domnilor, cu permisiunea dumneavoastră și această a treia parte a emisiunii Politica la Iași se va desfășura în limba engleză. So let me introduce my guest, Dr. Pavel, who is a specialist in cybersecurity. Welcome to the program, sir.
Nice to have you here.
You came here for the conference, a very important conference, and I think it's one of the first in the field that was hosted by Iași. Quite a lot of us know cybersecurity is important, but I suggest we try to set up a sort of boundaries and dominance of the field. Everybody knows, for instance, that viruses and worms are very dangerous and can destabilize a whole economy, a whole country, or maybe a whole continent. Yeah. What is, in fact, cybersecurity?
Well, as I see cyberspace, first of all, even before the cybersecurity, what is cyber? What is cyberspace? So our life, our daily life is computerized. The banks, the ATMs, all the our machines, our cars, everything is computerized. Even small rooms, even our workspace are managed by sensors, computers, PCs, laptops, cellular phones. So this is a fact. Since there is ability to breach, to have ability to create manipulation over those sensors, over those PCs, laptops, information system, operational system, that all of them are computerized, there is ability to create physical damage. Because
do you feel people are aware of these risks? I think awareness is raising, but anyway, vulnerabilities are still high.
Indeed, vulnerability is still high because, as you mentioned, you are very right, the awareness is a major problem, the human factor, because a cybersecurity expert, information security analyst, they know the risk, they know the advantage, the disadvantages, perhaps most of them. But cyberspace, every one of us, we are living in this cyberspace because our car is kind of a network of computers. So we need to know the advantages and the disadvantages, the opportunities or the risks. Our cellular phone is not only cellular phone.
It's not only ours, maybe somebody else knows what's happening.
It's not only ours. So we need to know the advantages of very sophisticated and friendly users cellular applications. But we need to know that, first of all, there is almost no privacy and no anonymity in this life, in this digital life and this cellular phone life.
Does this type of work make you more of a pessimist in terms of human freedom, human autonomy? Or do we have enough means to preserve whatever autonomy and whatever freedom we are left with?
It's a very interesting question, because I think, and I often say it to my students, that I realize that in the further several years, 3, 4, 5 years, we as end users, we as a corporate organization, we as communities, and we as states, we will have to define several basic terms from beginning. And I mean, what is privacy? In the age of social networks, social media, of WhatsApp, of Google and Facebook. What is privacy? What is anonymity? What is secrecy? Can we keep secret in the age of WhatsApp? Probably not. So perhaps even states will need to define what is secrecy, what is censorship, what is our privacy, what is intellectual property in the age of anything can write anything. There is, once again, advantages, and we need to raise the awareness about the disadvantages and the risk for every end users.
We turn to the political field. I'm a political scientist, somehow this is the angle of approaching this dialogue. I'm sure that in both your academic and in other professional capacities, you are contacted. Governments and politicians want to know what you're thinking about cybersecurity. Am I right?
Well, the essence of cyberspace, cybersecurity is very holistic. And the basic notion is that cyber equal technology. But cyber is and should be regarded as an holistic issue, holistic problem and holistic solution, because cyber is not only technical aspects. Cyber is policy, cyber is risk management, cyber is education, cyber is human factor, cyber is economic and law. So we need to have an awareness and it relates to everyone: politicians, lawmakers, professors, researchers, even students. I think that even in kindergarten, they should start to teach the students, the children, the kids, not what is cyber, but how you live.
How to relate to the
yes,
technologically advanced environment you live in.
The basic steps of what is the digital life. You do not need to mention the word cyber, or cyberspace, or cybersecurity, but to prepare our next generation to this changing world. And this world is changing day by day. We have less privacy, less anonymity, and all those basic terms are changing in front of our eyes.
We have to turn to terrorism.
Yeah.
There is a noun called cyber terrorism, and there is, of course, the multiple uses a terrorist or a terrorist network could put the internet to. How real is that danger? Have we, of course, we know what we have experienced. Maybe there were some other plots that were prevented. Maybe some other issues which are not known by the general public.
Well, you know that on one hand, terrorist organization, even if they have, they can gain fundraising for their cyber activity or gain supporters, high-tech supporters and volunteers, they will not be able to gain the possibilities of state actor. They will, will be eventually at the end. There will be a local or low-level actors. They will not be able to have abilities and technology of state actors.
Which a terrorist state might master.
Yes, but if it's but you're talking about state actors.
Yeah,
but
no,
on the other hand,
let's turn back to the networks.
Yes, but on the other hand, the entrance level to as an actor to this cyber level is much lower, because now everyone can open a fake Facebook account and create social engineering attack. Everyone can create manipulation and be able to breach Twitter account and then to post fake news, fake Twitter accounts, fake Twitter post tweets, and create A, fake news, and B, psychological warfare.
Fake book in log.
Fake book, of course, yes. And potentially everyone can breach into relevant Twitter account, even AP. It was in the past 3 years ago. Hacker groups managed to breach into, compromise into AP Twitter account and post a short tweet that 2 explosions occurred in the White House and President Obama was injured. This specific tweet
influenced,
and it caused for 3 minutes a loss of index in S&P 500 for $136.5 billion. It was for 3 minutes, but it caused by one simple, easy to make tweet.
There was a worm. There was something which scared the whole world a couple of months ago. In fact, there were 2.
Once again, the importance of the end user, the importance of awareness against social engineering attack. We saw several waves of ransomware attacks. There was WannaCry at mid of May, all over the world, especially in UK, but all over the world, 200 states. There was last week a Bad Rabbit ransomware attack, and in contrary of physical attack, it's not a missile that it's hit in specific place, or a bullet or a shell that land in specific place and you know the damage you can accumulate it. But cyber attack, it can cause a damage that will affect several dozens of cities or even states and countries without the intention, or perhaps with a real intention to create damage that is very, very widespread. And we saw it in several waves of those cyber attacks, of those ransomware attacks few months ago and a few days ago all over Europe.
Do you feel that by a stronger cooperation, by better contacts, intergovernmental contacts, such threats could be minimized? Of course, democratic countries are very keen not to share secrets with non-democratic countries, and we can elaborate more.
That's the problem.
So how should it be? It's a sort of community of democratic countries fighting cyber terrorism, or perhaps it should be a wider framework?
Yes, that's a good question, because now in those days, of course, there is involvement of organization, NGOs, government, in order to create frameworks, in order to create policy, how to manage, how to cooperate between states, what to do, what not to do. There was a meeting between the presidents of China and US, Barack Obama, in the past, to try to perhaps regulate what to do and what not to do in peace of time and in wartime in the cyberspace. And the basic problem in the cyberspace and cyber warfare is what is called the attribution problem, because once again, when there is an airplane that across the border, or when there is a missile that launched by North Korea, you can see it, you know it. You know who made it, the ballistic missile experiment, so you know how to retaliate. But in the cyberspace dimension, you probably, in most cases, almost know nothing. You don't know who made it, who's behind. Perhaps there is no smoking gun. So how you can retaliate, how you can react, against who. So there is a lot of new questions that government, NGO, researchers and policymakers should discuss between themselves in country levels and between the states, in order to create new frameworks and new policies to deal with cyber issues, new methods and new threats in cyber world.
My question would be, do you think that Romania and other Eastern European countries, which are starting to make more serious efforts in this field, would be helped by cooperating with private actors in the field? Maybe the bulk of the knowledge and the bulk of the capabilities are concentrated not in the hands of the governments, but in private hands.
Of course, because since the cyber issues, it's not military, it's not, you know, in the hand of military, in the hand of government, in the hand of one specific sector. Cyber issue is cross-topic. It's not only technical, it's not only governmental, it's law, it's economic, it's psychology, it's the nature of human being. The knowledge, since it's cross-topic issues, cyberspace and cyber topics and cyber warfare and cybersecurity, the knowledge is not in the hand of the military sector or the governmental institution. Therefore, there should be a cooperation and you know, share information, even between sectors. You know, if there is an attack against one bank, perhaps it can hit another bank. So why not to share information between the sector themselves? If one hospital was hit, perhaps it will be good enough for him to share the information with other hospitals in the same sector in order to prevent them from being attacked. So you know,
in Britain, it was the case in the United Kingdom.
Yes, the WannaCry cyber ransomware attack. So you see that it's a very good thing to share information, although it's not a native habit to share information with your opponent or rivals in the same sector, but yet to share information, to share the knowledge, and to give and to receive back in your sector, in your state, and between states to have a more stable cyberspace and for the benefit of all of us.
Thank you very much, sir.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Doamnelor și domnilor, vă
Nice to be here.
mulțumesc pentru atenție. Ne revedem săptămâna viitoare la Politica la Iași.